Hi guys, welcome back. As you see in the title, today I will be giving my thoughts, i.e. my 2 cents on the results of the general election, and specifically addressing Dr. Peter Phillips' resignation, and also giving my thoughts and giving my thoughts on some of the reasons why I think the PNP lost this general election. So guys, let's get into the video.
Sorry. Just be strong, Peter. Do. The last them take, you know.
As is now recognized, the results of the general elections held yesterday, September 3rd, have been very unfavorable to the People's National Party. As in all undertakings such as this, the ultimate responsibility must rest with the leader of the party. Accordingly, I consider it my duty to demit office as president of the party, and I have written to the chairman of the People's National Party to ask that the National Executive Council and the executive of the party make the necessary arrangements as soon as is practicable to elect a new leader of the party. I would like to thank all those who voted yesterday for the People's National Party. I would also like to thank all those who worked on the campaign. Many of them, indeed all of them, went way beyond the call of duty to support the People's National Party's efforts in the field. The party has many lessons to learn from the experience. I expect that the executive will shortly establish a review committee to analyze the causes of the defeat and to chart a path for rebuilding. I'd like to say in closing that I have had, over these past 4 decades, a tremendous opportunity to serve my country and my party in giving public service. And I relish this and certainly will do all I can to ensure a smooth transition of the leadership of the party and a swift rebuilding of the People's National Party so that it can continue to fulfill its historic mission on behalf of the people of Jamaica. Until a new leader is elected to exercise all the responsibilities that attach to the office of President of the People's National Party, which includes leader of the opposition. I would like to point out also, just for completeness, that I was in touch with the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party last night at approximately 8 o'clock to offer, on my own behalf and on behalf of the party, our congratulations to him and his party.
There you have it, guys. In my opinion, a very tasteful and graceful speech by Dr. Peter Phillips. So yeah, there's nothing more appealing. There's nothing more appealing than to see for someone to accept defeat in a graceful way, tasteful and graceful way. So much respect to Dr. Peter Phillips for how he handled that. It shows leadership, it shows agility, it shows strength, and this can only be, to his benefit in terms of how he will be remembered as the leader of the People's National Party. So like I said, very tasteful and very well done by Dr. Peter Phillips. Now, taking a look at the overall performance of the People's National Party and how politics work in Jamaica, at least when I was there, and how things have really changed, But first of all, my opinions on this old general election, because I did this video. Remember, I did that video about that old dub for dub. But what I think this general election proves, this result, and this is for both sides. This is not just on one side in particular. This goes for both sides. This general election proves that Jamaicans, they don't really ask for much. Our expectations are not that much. And it just goes to show you that the reason why so many politicians and governments and stuff like that, the reason why they continue to operate in the way that they operate over the years, over and over and over, is because our expectations are so low. And when I say our expectations are so low, the things that we ask for, they're not necessarily vital to our development. They're not necessarily things that we need. It's just wants, if that makes sense. So again, it doesn't really help in terms of accountability. And what you find is that governments, politicians, they get away with a lot because they know the minds of individuals. And when I say they know the mind of individuals, most of the votes, you will know this, I don't know if you guys are aware, most of the votes come from the inner city. Don't think that it comes from uptown or yes, they vote. But when it comes on to a certain party wanting to gain that majority, they will target the inner city. Because the truth of the matter is, most people in the inner city, the truth of the matter is, they see that target group as more gullible as opposed to the affluent areas. And it hurts me to say this, because of course I have loads of family members who are in politics and they follow it, and it hurts me to say that it is true. And again, this is why I always, and again, this just, it really goes down to mindset, and it goes down to the limitations of people's mind. A lot of people, a lot of us, were limited. We don't really look at things on a more macro scale. Everything is just small. My grandmother used to always say, and my grandmother never went to school. My grandmother was not the brightest, but she had a lot of what we'd call that street knowledge. She had a lot of wisdom from her life experience, which is something that's very good, because life does teach you a lot, whether or not you are educated or not. But of course, she had her limitations with not being educated, but she always used to say, she used to say that, it's think big and you live big. So when I was growing up, and she used to make it known that, I wasn't educated, but I want you guys to do better, do better than I did. My mom didn't push me. I want to push you guys. As she would say, she would tell us based on her experience. So she'd say, think big and you live big. And I think that's really one of my main driving force. I've always been the type of person where I look at a car, I couldn't afford one, but I always envision myself in a car. I envision myself in a big house. I envision myself traveling. I've always seen myself doing big things. And I do believe, think big and you shall live big. If you think small, you shall stay small. And a lot of us, the reason why we're not seeing more improvement is because our thinking is so small. We're not thinking bigger. We're just thinking about 2 roads being fixed. And I've noticed this a lot in the inner city. And as someone has grown up in it, we think about 2 roads being fixed. We think about getting some walls built. That is all the expectation we have. And if we see a party build 2 roads, then they're doing something. Or we look at stuff like if the party comes on during Christmas time and give us some groceries, or if the party comes and give us some bun during Easter, that is what. If you notice, a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of inner city Jamaicans, a lot of Jamaicans see as something as progress. But when you look at, the first world countries, progress for them is free education, free healthcare. These are the issues these are the things they want to hear from their government. What are you going to do to target the whole the education system, to target the healthcare system, the amount of money we have to pay, people dying, the poor healthcare, education, food prices, gas prices? These are the things that you find in a first world country that are being targeted, that people want to hear. But in Jamaica, it's just lacking. People don't expect these sort of things to be brought to the forefront, and not only to talk about them, because a lot of talk is cheap. We don't really hear how these things are going to be implemented. And of course, people for them, that's not important. For them, that's not something that they really care about. They just want to know that you fix 2 roads for them, which of course, road, you can't eat road, you can't develop on road, you can't eat Easter bun forever. So again, that's why I thought this whole election for me was unacceptable. This whole campaign for election was unacceptable. I didn't see anything where I would say, yes, I felt proud that I'm seeing where we have a vision. So that's that out the way. So for me, that was lacking. Now going on to the results. The reason I think the JLP swept the party, the votes. It's just the era that we're living in. Everything is social media, and Andrew Holness, he appealed to the younger generation, and of course, young people. It's all about being hip, it's all about being cool, trendy, and stuff like that. As well as, I think, because he's less, you would say, he's less you don't really hear much confrontations with him and his party members, stuff like that. I just think those are some of the various correlations, why people would be like, and he seems, and like I said, he appeals to the younger audience, and he seems more relatable, and people are just going for that nowadays. Like with Donald Trump, people would more relate. People went for the fact that Donald Trump was, he's new. But overall, it is what it is. Personally, I don't think this is a victory for Jamaica, because the things that we need to address, I don't see where they're being addressed. There are real issues, guys. They're serious issues. And I think for change to happen in Jamaica, the people of Jamaica has to take this up in hand. When I say that, what I mean by that is, like in England, if flour raise, if certain things go up too high, people don't buy it. And I think that's the only way we're going to see, improvement, if people take, their democracy seriously. But like I said, a graceful speech by Dr. Peter Phillips, and it shows strength, it shows great leadership, it shows that, you can rise during defeat. And I think even if you're faking it, it's the best way to be. Show grace, show that, you've lost and you accept the defeat. And I think it shows good strength on his part. But overall, guys, I don't think this is a victory for Jamaica. Jamaica is in serious trouble, guys, and I don't really see, great manifestos that is directing us, steering us in the right direction. The healthcare system is bad. The healthcare system is unacceptable. School system is unacceptable. We're in education, funding for young people wanting to go to university, and this is something that I've experienced myself. I could not even get student loan, guys, when I wanted to pursue a degree. That's just the truth. There was so much criteria and so much hoops that I had to jump through. For me, unacceptable. And these are some of the reasons why people don't even bother, because what sense does it make to push when you're not even going to get where you want to go to? Everything is nepotism. when it comes down to the workforce, is nepotism. If you don't know someone, most of the times you're not going to get the job. Sometimes you're lucky enough, but most times it's who you know that will make you favorable in your application. So those are some of the things unacceptable. Like I said, healthcare, school, education, food prices, gas prices, you name it. It's the insurmountable amount of debt that Jamaica has. And once again, the whole light situation, which again, I did a video on that about the whole JPS. And why is it that Jamaica only has one energy provider? So for me, those are some of the things that I didn't see addressed. So I'm not happy. I'm not excited. I'm not quote unquote excited for the future. I see a lot of people rejoicing. I see a lot of people crying for, those who lost, those whose parties lost, they cried. Those whose parties won, they rejoice. But they're the ones who are going to wake up tomorrow morning with no food on their table. They're the ones who's going to wake up tomorrow morning with no job. They're the ones who's going to be in their situation. That's how I've always looked at it. I just think people are silly. People get emotional over things that doesn't even benefit them. People just invest their emotions in the wrong things, because at the end of the day, we're the ones who have to live with our situation. And, whether we vote or not, is it going to improve your situation? That's what you should be looking at. Is this something that will benefit me and benefit my future? That is how I think. Those are reasons why I think people should vote. They should look at the manifestos, look at the implementations, look at the suggestions in which governments say they're going to carry out these said manifestos, and see if that, is something that looks good for your future. Because at the end of the day, you're the ones who have to live in the situation, not they said government. But Andrew Holness is the Prime Minister. Once again, I really do hope, I just hope he does put some good policies in place, and that, leadership is taken very seriously, as we'd hope for, and that we can see some changes. I'm not holding my breath, but hoping for proper change in Jamaica. So all we can do is just wish Andrew Holness the best, and, just pray for the man. Pray that he will pray for the man that he will let the Lord guide him in his leadership, and that he puts God first in everything, because with Christ in the vessel, we can smile at the storm. And, all the best to Peter Phillips, and much respect to Peter Phillips for his grace, and I just wish him all the best in his future endeavors. So guys, as always, I do thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do share your comments, guys. Please do share your thoughts, comments in the comment box section. Give this video a thumbs up, guys, and share. You know the drill. Until next time, Godspeed. Big ups.